What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to learn about Git Worktrees, and specifically we're going to learn about them in the context of agentic programming. So we're going to briefly discuss the general idea behind Git Worktrees, and then we're going to see how we can use that to run multiple Claude code or whatever agentic coder environment you're using in parallel. So many sessions in parallel working on specific parts of the same project, same application, but doing so in multiple instances. If you like this video, let me know by hitting a like button and subscribing. But now let us get right into it. Alright, so we're going to keep it straightforward and simple. We're going to discuss briefly what Git Worktrees are in general, what the use case for Git Worktrees is, and then we're going to see how this applies to agentic coding, how we can use multiple instances of coding agents to work on the same project without any problems, without any inconsistencies, so to say. So for this very basic example here, I have a Git repository called Worktree tutorial. It contains a vibe-coded Flask app. So what I can do is I can clone it here. I already have this on my system. To be precise, it's in my tutorial directory here. And the basic idea is I have this repository now. I go into it. We can also run this if we want to. So I can say in this Flask to-do app, it's a UV application. So I can say UV run main py. This is going to install everything. It's going to allow me to run this on localhost, and it's a basic to-do application. So I can create a user, I can log in, I can manage to-dos, and you can see it has a bluish kind of theme here. Now, the application we're working with here is not that important, but it's a Flask application. We can change something. So maybe I want to start developing a new feature now. I want to change something about the code. So I can go into my to-do blueprint here. I can go into the routes and adjust something in the code. Maybe I want to say that there can be another filter status. So I can say filter status is equal to whatever, then something else should be done here. So I can say query is equal to query, whatever. I don't even know what I'm doing here. But the basic idea is I'm coding now on this file. I'm coding on multiple files. I'm changing a lot in this project. And then all of a sudden someone, maybe a client, maybe some business partner, maybe someone else here, tells me, hey, this is an urgent bug. This is an urgent problem that is in the application right now. Please fix this ASAP. And let's say it's something in another file, or maybe in this file in a different function. What do I do in this case? Now, I don't want to lose all the progress that I have already made. So I don't want to stop and just discard everything that I've written here. Maybe I've changed thousands of lines, hundreds of lines, especially if I use agentic coding, maybe I changed a lot. And I don't want to just stash all of it and get it back. I don't also want to just get rid of all of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with a work tree. This is the perfect use case for that. So let's say here I'm going to add a pass statement. Then maybe down here I want to do, maybe I want to go into the models here. I want to say that every user will also have, I don't know, some priority or something. I do some model change here. So I'm going to make this a column. Let's say this is an integer. Let's say it's nullable, whatever. And I have some changes here. So I can now exit this editor. I think I need to go to routes py and save this as well. But essentially here, now I have some changes. So if I do git status, you can see there is stuff that is modified, even if we ignore the caching file. So we have models py, routes py. Now, someone says there's a bug fix that needs to be done. How do I do this? The easiest way is by using Worktree. This is also, in my opinion, the most professional way. So what we do is we say Git Worktree. This is, by the way, not a separate tool that you need to install. This is part of Git. It already exists in Git. This is not something new. This has been around for a while. But essentially, I can do now Git Worktree add, and then I want to use the parent directory here. I'm going to explain in a second why, but actually I need to do this one directory up. So I need to not be in the Flask application, but actually in the Git repository. So Worktree tutorial is the Git repository. Here I need to do this command. So Git Worktree add, and then I want to do the parent directory of the repository, so to say. And now we can call this something like bug fix, if that is what the brand should be called. So now I'm creating a work tree called bug fix. Now, you can see that in this directory, nothing changes. I still have my Flask application. If I do git status, I still have the files here, models and routes, which are adjusted with the current changes. Maybe it's not complete yet, but my code is still there. But at the same time, now I can go up one directory, and now I can see on the same level as Worktree tutorial, I have a directory called bugfix. And now I can go into this directory, And you can see I also have here the flash to do application. I even have the README file here still. And if I do git status here, you can see that there's nothing to commit. This is basically what is in the repository without any changes. And then of course, what I can do here is I can go into the project, I can go into flash to do app, and I can do the bug fix, whatever that bug fix is. Maybe it's just going to the template and renaming the application. It shouldn't be called to do app, it should be called to do application. That is the quick fix I need to make, and I also need to do it here, to do application. That is basically it. And I still keep the changes that I started making in the main branch in my repository here, but I can now go ahead and say git add and the flash to do app. I can say git status, this adds the base HTML file here, and now I can say git commit, and I can say, I don't know, title fix or something like this. I can push this. And the only thing, of course, is I need to set the upstream branch to be the proper one, origin bug fix. And this now is being pushed to my Git repository. So if I refresh here, you will see that on Worktree tutorial, I have a branch called bug fix. And in this bug fix branch here, I changed the title. However, I can still go back now and continue to work on Worktree tutorial, which we'll still have if I do git status, models and routes changed with the new field, which was priority, and also with whatever we did in routes py. That is the basic idea of Git Worktrees. And we can do that not just once, we can do that 5 times. I can go here and say Git Worktree add, and I can make another one like UI changes, for example. And I can do one that is maybe performance or something like this. And all of these are now at the same level, which is also why we use the parent directory. Of course, I can also just say Git Worktree if I'm now in the repository. I can say Git Worktree add and then something in here. This would also work, but now I would have a Git repository in a Git repository. That's just not nice. That's not easy to work with. So I can also remove this now. Git Worktree remove something. And this also deletes the directory. But now here I have basically 4 times the same repository, and I can do some bug fixes in the first one, performance optimizations in the second one, UI changes in the third one, and then whatever I started doing in the main one, and that's basically it. Then I can push all of them. I can also merge all of them again. That is just having multiple branches checked out at the same time locally. Okay, so how does all of this now relate to agentic coding? Now, I deleted all these other Git Worktrees here, and I'm going to show you how we can do the same thing with something like Claude Code. Now, here's a side note. If you want to do this with something like OpenCode, there is not an automated feature, at least as of right now. In OpenCode, what you would have to do is you would have to create these worktrees yourself, the same way I did it just now, and you start multiple OpenCode instances. So you start one in folder 1, one in folder 2, and so on, and then you just have 4 OpenCode instances. That is the main use case here. What you want to do is you want to have 4 coding agents, maybe on 4 different screens, maybe you want to do split screen or something, and you want them working on different parts of the application, each pushing onto their own branches as if they were employees and then merging them together. This is what you do then essentially. But with Claude Code, you don't even need to set up the worktrees. You can just go into your Git repository here, Worktree tutorial, and you can say Claude --worktree. This is enough to create a Claude instance that creates a worktree. And you can see here, this is created in the .claude directory of this project, Worktrees, and it's given a default name, Cryptic Toasting Storm. Then I can do something here. I can say, for example, make the style of the entire application red. That would be one instance. Now, at the same time, I can open up a second terminal window, and I can go to the same directory. So that would be tutorial, that would be Worktree tutorial. And I would say Claude --worktree again. And I can also, if I want to provide a name, so I can say, for example, green theme or something like this. Then it's not going to give me a default name. It creates just the green theme worktree. And I can say, make the entire application green. So what it does here on the left side is it adjusts everything. I'm just going to allow it to do whatever it wants. It adjusts everything so it's red, and on the right side it's going to do the same thing with green. They're both going to be then on separate branches, and I can compare them. I can play around with them if I want to. That is not necessarily how you want to do this. I mean, you can also do this to try different approaches for the same problem, but the ideal use case would probably be something like you have one Claude agent working on the style, one Claude agent working on performance, one Claude agent working on a database change, whatever. And then you just combine the changes and you have them running simultaneously because you don't want to be waiting for every single thing to be finished before you can start with the next thing. So you're just orchestrating these Claude code instances. But this was now a very simple example. Now, if I try to exit here, you can see it asks me, do I want to keep the work tree or do I want to remove it? Of course, I want to keep it. And I'm going to also do the same thing here. I'm going to keep the work tree. And now I can go to .claude. I can do the same thing here as well, .claude. And I can navigate to work trees. And here I can see I have these work trees on both sides. I have this cryptic toasting storm and green theme. I can go to cryptic toasting storm. First of all, I can just use the application here. I can run it locally, see what it looks like. For example, here, Flask to do app, UV run main py. This is now the one branch here, the first one, which was instructed to do everything in a red way. There you go, red styling. And if I go to the green theme, I can go into Flask as well, UV run. First, let me stop this one, UV run main py. And then if I open this, it should be green. There you go, everything's green. So that is one thing. You can try different things, see which one you like more, or you can just combine these. So I can go now, as you can see here, maybe let me clear the screen so it's easier to read. But basically we have here the name of the branch or of the work tree, and then you have the upstream branch. So this is actually pushing to main. If I push this, it's going to push to main. Now, if I do want to push to this actual branch, what I can do is, first of all, I need to say git status. I can say, okay, what did actually change? It changed the style CSS. So app static, and then CSS style CSS. And now what I can do is I can say git commit, first of all, red style, and then now there's a typo, red style 4, doesn't matter, git push, and now I would say origin head. So that would push it to the worktree cryptic toasting storm. If I want to push to main explicitly, I would do head : main. But I'm just going to go with head like this. Pushed it to a new branch. Now also, one thing that you'll notice is you have to do it like this every time because it's pointing upstream to main. If I don't want this, if I actually want to always push to this here, I can unset the upstream. So I can say git branch -- unset - upstream. And now this is no longer the case. We're pushing to upstream worktree cryptic toasting storm. Yeah, so to summarize, the basic idea is a work tree in Git is just different directories having different branches of your repository checked out locally at the same time. You can use that manually to do stuff. You can also have agents use that. You can either create them manually and run something like OpenCode in every single directory of the work trees you create, or you can just use Claude Code -- worktree and then give it a name, and it will automatically handle the work trees. You just need to do the commits and the pushes, or you can even ask Claude to do that for you. So that's it for this video today. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something. If so, let me know by hitting a like button and leaving a comment in the comment section down below. Also, if you're interested, on my website, you will find a services tab and a tutoring tab. There you can see what I have to offer. If you need help with a project, if you need some consulting, or if you want me to teach you something one-on-one, you can contact me there via email or LinkedIn at the bottom of the page down below. Besides that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to not miss a single future video for free. Other than that, thank you much for watching. See you in the next video, and